Hey Dave,
Yes, Boater.
why is Monokuma, the villain of Danganronpa, not planning on eating anything at Thanksgiving?
Why is that character not planning on eating anything on
Because
Thanksgiving?
he's already stuffed! He's a teddy bear. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Mann.
We've switched sides, but more importantly, Dave's busy doing last minute something, I'm not sure, but he's excited as I am. Hello everybody, we are in the all-new Insane Games TV studio. We're finally able to bring Nerd Glasses right here. I love it so much. So, hi everybody, and welcome to the set, and welcome to the show. Did I already say I'm Boater?
Indeed you did.
All right, then you already said you're Dave. And Dave, do you want to lead us off, or do you want me to start going first? As I can tell, you're putting together something for one of our regular features.
I can definitely lead off with this week, as it's been the last couple of weeks. It was the heavy season of releases and things like that.
Yep.
And now we are into where it is just about to be Black Friday, and if you're stupid, you put out a game the week before Black Friday or the week of Black Friday.
The big games should be out by now so that they're ready for the holiday buying season, or they should have been delayed to February by now.
When
does Cyberpunk come out?
Unfortunately, that game keeps getting delayed. I am always erring on the side of I'm glad it's getting delayed if it's not ready, and also if it's getting delayed, it means that people are getting more time to work on the product. Looking at you, Halo, as well.
It's more time that they get to spend in crunch, because despite all reports and promises to the contrary, CD Projekt Red is still facing a lot of crunch as they keep delaying and delaying.
CD Projekt Red joining hands with literally every other video game company in the history of video games.
They caught it really bad during Witcher 3 development. They got a lot of bad press about it. So they were like, we're going to be totally okay with Cyberpunk development. We promise. Those are crossed fingers.
So if you're looking for new games coming out for your consoles, this week coming is going to be a little bit thin for you. But as of next Tuesday, you're going to be looking forward to. So if you have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, don't talk to me, first of all. But you can get Just Dance 2021 starting today.
Nice.
Tomorrow on the PS4, Star Renegades, a role-playing space RPG, will be released on the PS4, as well as a loot shooter on the PS4. Free to play online, getting a little bit interesting that you're joining that model on a console that's now going to be the next gen. But, you know, the good news is Warframe is coming to the PS5. So if you're a fan of free-to-play action role-playing, you also will have that on the PlayStation 5.
Not bad at all. Very nice.
Twin Mirror, a adventure game by Don't Nod Entertainment and co-produced by Shibuya Productions.
Oh, where was the last time that I saw Don't Nod?
I believe...
That sounds really familiar.
Indeed.
Oh my god, they were the developers behind Remember Me, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Remember Me and Life is Strange.
Normal people would remember them from Life is Strange. I remember them from Remember Me.
As well as Vampire, if you played that on your Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and Windows. And the answer is no, you didn't. Stop lying to yourself. But it is a very interesting adventure game. To be honest, I am looking forward to that game because it reminds me a lot of Alan Wake. And so anything that I can get that's more Wake-like. The idea is there's a story that can have different elements broken off as you would in any good storytelling game, but your perception and how your actions have affected do actually affect how the outcomes and how these splits.
The cover looks a bit like a mix of Heavy Rain with Detroit Become Human.
What's going on, Akai? Also, welcome, Pistol. It's great to see you. And Demon Dragon, thank you so much for stopping in. Just want to make sure I'm Hitting that also, long promised strategy game, Empire of Sin. If you are
This
a
is cheating. I
fan,
can see what he's looking up right now as opposed to being across from each other.
if you are a fan of, well, gangster films and that sort of thing, but the turn-based strategy idea, a la oh, of course, my brain is melting down. It's almost holiday season. I'm saving up all my energy for Black Friday when I have to fend off the cave people that come out and ask about sales. But
Please don't come out and ask about sales. You're going to get lumped into a group you don't want to get lumped in with.
turn-based strategy, a la the styles of other RPGs and other things. But the idea is that you are attempting to basically do the plot of Scarface. Empire of Sin.
So turn-based strategy like Fire Emblem or like Civ?
It seems more like a XCOM.
Okay. Okay.
In that, so in like I can't. That's my direct comparison is
that's
XCOM
fair,
as
that's
opposed
fair.
to one of those two. But so yeah, it's each character has cooldowns and turn-based and all that going
Okay.
on. I'm looking forward to playing it. And I don't know that I'm gonna buy it day of, but was definitely a game that I was interested in.
Again, that's Empire of Sin, developed by Romero Games, published by Paradox Interactive. That's a good pedigree. So
Indeed.
definitely looking forward to seeing how that does.
And then the other big one that caught my attention, other than the perpetual battle royale series of Worms, Rumble, which is coming to PS5 and PS4.
Okay, okay.
Not surprised that one got a battle royale. It's been a battle royale-esque game for
actually,
decades.
I hadn't thought about it. I haven't thought about Worms in 2 years, but as soon as you say Worms Battle Royale, I'm like, yeah, I buy it. I mean, I don't know if I'll buy it, but I get it.
Will be Chronos, which is for the Oculus Rift. So if you have a VR headset, Vladdy, you can get this game. Role-playing, third-person perspective, usual similar style of the Resident Evil games. You're a customizable protagonist who's trying to kill a dragon in a labyrinth. The publishers are Gunfire Games and eventually became THQ Nordic when Gunfire Games couldn't foot the bill entirely.
Yeah.
So with having THQ Nordic added to the publisher, it bodes very well considering that it's a dungeon crawly-esque game.
If it sounds familiar, it's because it did get a Windows release back in 2016, but it has been completely revamped, given a subtitle, because that's what you do. Actually, no, I give them credit for giving a subtitle and not just releasing it under the exact same name. It's getting a subtitle and getting release on Windows and consoles.
Yes.
So it's D&D.
Because that's always the best thing. So it's D&D. I mean, pretty much, but it's not D&D because if they call it D&D, Wizards of Coast gets $6.
They say no.
So, Boater, that's all the releases for the coming week until the next Nerd Glasses when we meet again. However, I know you had found a Twitch ban and I had found a Twitch ban, and I would love to hear about your story.
Sure. So you may be familiar with Project Melody. This is a virtual streamer. Virtual streamers or virtual YouTubers were first big in Japan and eventually made their way to the West as well. Because they got their start on YouTube, they're referred to as VTubers and are known that even on other platforms. And Project Melody is that. The person themselves is not on stream. Instead, it is their fully CG rendered and animated character that is shown live action in real time. As I wave my hand, the avatar would wave their hand. And it is that character. So how we talk about Dr. Disrespect as a character of streaming, Project Melody is a character. A character whose model the creator paid $5,000 to have created, and had a bit of a falling out, and I'll get into the specifics in a moment, had a bit of a falling out with the artist.
Yeah.
And then the artist was like, what's Twitch known for lately? And I'm saying that I have the copyright of that they don't have the rights for, so I'm going to issue a DMCA complaint against Project Melody on Twitch.
I mean...
Resulting in a ban from Twitch, which was reinstated, but when they were banned, they were partner status, and when they were reinstated, they no longer had partner status. So oof.
I mean, wasn't it nice for the first time ever where we have a story where a DMCA takedown
Wasn't
used
about
properly?
music.
Like,
Well, properly is a bit of a stretch, but I'm like, DMCA not used for music rights? First off, novel is all hell. Please tell me more. So what happened was that Digirev X, who was the artist, says that she never paid for additional work. So there was the $5,000 of original done, but then like bug fixes and occasional updates that Project Melody never paid for. Meanwhile, hello Vladdy, loving the digs. Meanwhile, Project Melody says that Digirev X refused payment for the extra work that was done. However, then 6-7 months ago was like, hey, you should get signed up, and the company that I work for, we should set you up with a contract for a service agreement, something, $40,000 a month. To which she was like, no. And he kept hounding her, and he kept hounding her. I say her, I actually don't know if the creator of Project Melody is male or female, but the character is female, so I'm going to keep using her to refer to the creator. She was like, no, and he kept hounding her, never a good look. And finally he was like, all right, cool. I'll put it behind us if you plug my project such and such. And she was like, okay, fine. Please send over, the contract that says that I get all this rights and, none of this will be an issue anymore.
yeah.
And then it didn't happen. So when she was taken down on Twitch, she fought it with receipts of the original payment, but then also screenshots of conversations that granted her the intellectual property rights. And those are important. But
Yeah.
what's more important is that if you get work done, if you commission someone for art that you're going to use commercially, you need to have a contract that says that you own the property and can do as you please with it. When I do video work in a professional capacity for clients, it's in my boilerplate contract that says you have all rights to this in perpetuity to do with as you please. And it's worth knowing about that because there wasn't a contract. And it's with that much money being exchanged, there should have been a contract that stated who has the rights to the property. That said, because of the nature of the work, it could be argued in court if it came to it that, well, this was obviously going to be used for this.
Yeah.
And so you can complain about work not paid or whatever, and then there's all of this showing, no, I paid for everything, and he never invoiced me for anything else as much as I offered, so there's no unpaid whatever. But you can show that and say, you can bring that contract to the table and say, I own the rights. Now she did bring screenshotted DM conversations that say, yeah, just credit me as the artist, but you own the IP. And that's probably what turned the tables and got her back in. But because it's a repeat ban, because the character of Project Melody is also known for being a little on the risque side and has also has accounts elsewhere like YouTube and Chatterbait and Pornhub, whatever, trying to keep it clean on Twitch, but apparently ran a little, in the creator's words, a little too spicy for Twitch. So this was a repeat offense, a repeat ban, partner status revoked. OnlyFans, probably. Keep your receipts, and again, especially make sure that you have the documentation as to what you actually own. Because when I buy a CD, I don't have rights to do whatever I want with the music on that CD. Sorry, I just dated myself in saying a CD rather than a download from iTunes or Amazon, but I'm buying a license to listen to that for myself.
Yeah.
And again, it could be argued that the nature of the work was that, no, this is what they're going to do with it, and for you to claim that that wasn't expected, shut up.
Fortunately, we are in an era where documentation one way or the other can be provided because emails, text messages, and all these other things can be used in court as documents proving one way or the other for both cases.
And there's questions of what could be admissible legal evidence, like screenshots, maybe not, but showing that that's there with
Yes.
timestamps, you can then go to
Yeah.
Twitter and say, please pull the record of this conversation and confirm.
So it's unfortunate that especially something as intricate and interesting as a digital persona is under so much scrutiny and under so much just controversy around who owns it and what's going on with that, because it's an interesting draw into the future of sci-fi that we watched when we were younger.
Oh, yeah.
Indefinitely
Oh, yeah.
was one of the. It was the Star Trek Next Generation, everyone walking around with touchscreens and tablets, where all of us were sitting at home with our 45-pound phones and shit,
Yeah.
going, that'll never happen.
Yeah. And I hadn't thought about the possibility of a VTuber farming out the art for that, the 3D model. I follow Amy Yamamoto on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that she has, made that model and such herself. It's something that I didn't consider, but of course is entirely natural. That if this is a character that you want to create. Butter, did you forget to clean the lens? You're looking a bit blurry. I did clean it. I can try to clean it more, but it might also be an optics thing in the camera.
We are, as you guys know, we have recently moved to a new location where we fortunately were
always
able to
looks good.
upgrade our backgrounds, our digs. We were able to have a dedicated streaming space. The next big advancement with your subs, your donations, your continued watches and supports and other things are the equipment. Right now we are using Logitech 1080p cameras, which are good, but not meant for moving around as we have for jostling for all the different setups that we're doing. So the equipment will definitely catch up with now the very nice streaming spaces that we're very thankful to have.
Before the Citadel, though, remind me, and I'll take a little bit of glass cleaner over that. I tried to just wipe it off with my sleeve, but there's definitely smudge on there. So we're working on it. And your feedback is absolutely appreciated as we know what we got to work on.
Absolutely.
So that is Project Melody. Dave, you said that you brought a Twitch band to the table too.
Indeed. Speaking of smudges, for those of you who know
odd
my
segue, but I'll allow it.
my extreme love of Overwatch, Twitch streamer and online personality XQC ranks among people that I would rather stab myself in the eye than actually be in the same room as. When you get paid to play Overwatch and then you do something stupid and get thrown out of the league, you're an idiot.
You're given a golden opportunity and you squander it by being stupid.
By specifically, and listen to this, not by cheating, because he is very good at Overwatch.
Okay.
But instead made Smurf accounts and then sold said Smurf accounts on the side to make more money. Dumb. You were getting paid to play Overwatch, and you were in the Overwatch League in its first year, in its infancy, when money was going to start pouring your way. But instead of supporting Overwatch and working with Blizzard and Papa Jeff, who definitely loves the performers on those programs and goes out of his way.
That's against terms of service in the first place.
Yep.
And to do that when you're in the spotlight and be like, hey, everybody, don't look for a second.
So, speaking of scumbaggy things XQC has done, and from now on I'll just be calling him Scummy, has done, recently, Boder and I talked about how Twitch did a festival, and they did a lot of different events during it. One of which was a Fortnite, a basically a triathlon of sorts, where multiple teams were put together to do multiple games.
Oh, that's cool.
XQC, Scummy, as for here to henceforth, was in it and was competing in it. Unfortunately, he was.
I was going to make a joke about rifle marksmanship, then I realized that's biathlon, not triathlon. Sorry, continue.
No. He managed to make it to the finals on skill. Very good player, great team that they were on. Unfortunately, through watching a lot of the programs, people realized that he was screen sniping other big name streamers, a la Dr. Lupo, a la Ninja, that were in the tournament, and has been once again banned by Twitch for a certain amount of time for violation of terms of service and things like that.
You're good.
The one amount of respect I will give to XQC is that XQC went on his social medias and said, please stop defending me. I did something scummy. I'm sorry about it. And then went try to rationalize that it didn't affect the outcome, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You're scum and you got caught.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
But by at least trying to diffuse the rabid fans who were like, it was fine.
Yeah, like...
Although, saying, don't defend me, what I did was inexcusable, and then offer excuses that people can then parrot when they continue to defend him.
It's an awful lot like handing people a script of like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, like it's the generic YouTube apology script kind of thing. Like,
Oh,
I did a
God.
bad. There was, I forget who it was. There was God, I want to say it was Captain Disillusion, but there was probably more than one person that just like made a generic YouTube apology video. This was shortly after the whichever Paul, Jake, or Logan Paul Suicide Forest thing.
Whichever of those them.
Yeah, I mean they're both equally reprehensible in my eyes.
Although one of them got fired by Disney, which is hysterical because come on, they're a big evil corporation. You can't get fired by the mouse unless you try.
You really gotta try. You really gotta try.
They would employ
Or-
Bundy.
No, you really gotta try, or have a whole bunch of crybabies calling for someone to get ejected, or to have a lot less to do in their script for episode 9. Or whoops, sorry, Kelly Marie Tran deserved better. Everyone deserved better than episode 9, but.
Butter, you can't apologize and then excuse the apology.
Kelly Marie Tran deserved better than episode 9. So did everyone involved.
Fair. Okay. Fair. So you know what? You know what else people deserve better than?
What's that?
Big House gaming tournaments, Boater. Have you ever heard of those?
I have not.
Uh,
I
the-
have to assume that it's a bunch of people in a Big Brother style house playing video games.
Now, that would have been infinitely more interesting than just a bunch of sweaty Super Smash Bros. Players.
I
who
mean,
have-
those two ideas are not irreconcilable.
No. But the Big House is a tournament for and by Smash Bros. Pros. They play typically Melee Ultimate, and then they play it on the Wii U and a couple other consoles over the years, and they set the tournaments. They had been running them since 2011
Okay.
as a way of, entering in some of the best in the world.
Nice.
Unfortunately, this year for Big House 10, they had to announce that it was canceled due to COVID, the pandemic.
Okay.
Then they announced, they said, we're going to reschedule it for December 2020. Then they had to do, all right, hang on. We got a letter from Nintendo. And it is that 2 weeks in a row, we have a story about Nintendo going, hold my legal documentation and watch this.
Okay. It's not the direction I was expecting it to go. Glasses are going back on.
Nintendo sent them a cease and desist because they were growing to a sizable enough to draw attention where they were beginning to compete with Nintendo's size, what would have been in Nintendo's scope of tournaments and things like that.
Yeah, making whether or not they made it look like it was Nintendo sanctioned.
Yes.
It's still like, ooh.
Well, I mean, for example, their logo does use the Ultimate logo and things of that nature.
it does. It does use the
So-
Smash Bros. Logo.
But that wasn't the big thing that Nintendo got upset about. It was, and I'm going to send this to everyone in chat just so you guys can leaf over it and see what you think about it. But
This is how you know the good tea's coming, is when Dave drops the link in chat.
it is a program called Slippy.
Oh, what? That feels dirty.
It's a netcode. It's for matchmaking and online competition,
Okay.
which is interesting, except for the fact that it means that all of these Smash Bros. Tournaments were not being used or hosted on the Nintendo network. It was being hosted on Slippy.
Okay.
So Nintendo, once again, doesn't want you using something else. They want you using their stuff. And especially to make a gigantic pile of money and not share that gigantic pile of money with them.
So rather than running on Nintendo's servers for multiplayer, they were basically making custom servers on Slippy.
Yes.
Okay.
Which then allowed people that. And the other big thing about Slippy was you don't technically have to have a verified copy of the game you are playing to enter into the tournaments and things like that.
Yep.
There's easy ways to backdoor it around Slippy. I looked that up because I was a little bit like, the hell do they care? And I was like, oh, it's because some of the people that were playing in the tournament were clearly not playing on actual copies of the game and things like that. And if we've learned anything about Nintendo, it's that if you're going to do something with Nintendo, use Nintendo stuff. They don't like it when you do things analogous to and put it in their stuff.
Use their servers, buy their copy of the game. Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, the big house will be going back to its lair and figuring out how they can get people on camera and do all these things a la Big Brother that they would in the future.
Man, that Dave, as long as we're talking about like having to go back and to get your group together and figure stuff out, Dave, what's the latest on another group of people that have been shouting their screed to the wind?
I'm so excited you should mention that.
Cheating because I can see what he had up next, but I like it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to bring you the weekly Nerd Glasses and Insane Games TV solidarity in showing for the Coalition for App Fairness.
Woohoo! I was going to do both hands, but shoulder.
The Coalition for App Fairness called upon Europe and European regulators to investigate and change App Store policies across the EU. Unfortunately, this article is just absolutely a bunch of arguments cut and pasted from previous articles in previous stories on the Coalition for App Fairness's website, but it is basically saying that not British because it's the EU.
There's a difference now.
EU lawmakers are now going to be getting into sessions on their various government structures and things of that nature. Because I attempted to try to pull up this one has this and this one has that, and the answer is France, Spain, a bunch of other smaller countries, Austrian, some of them the other ones are going to be getting into session. They're going to be making regulations about things, and the Coalition for App Fairness wants to be one of the things on that ticket, potentially. So they're basically doing their same argument, but instead of doing it on the eastern western coast of the United States or in Canada, as they have in the past, they are now entering the European front. It's truly the world's
They've entered the European theater. This war is escalating. Pretty soon they'll be in the Pacific.
They'll be everywhere. They're going to be indefinitely sponsoring Insane Games TVs because we're definitely going to join the Coalition for App Fairness.
The Coalition is going to find some unpopulated Pacific island to bomb. It's going to be a great war. We're going to have a wonderful little war.
We're going to have a wonderful time.
There's a quote along the lines of that was referring to World War I as along a wonderful little war or something like that. And I'm just picturing that in a boardroom for the Coalition of App Fairness.
The Spanish-American War, a splendid little war.
Oh, Spanish-American War. My bad.
John Hay. Oh, what a lovely little war. Oh, God. Yep. So
This is why you learn history, also to identify and attempt to fight the rise of fascism. But history!
If you need a reminder about that, look up Black Sabbath War Pigs and just listen to that on repeat until you realize that a lot of things are going on with that. I am very, very excited. Boder, would you like to... Yes.
I actually... So you mentioned the Coalition of App Fairness.
Yes.
But while we believe... our official please give us $69 so we can join the coalition stance aside, our thoughts are that if they want to be paying less and they want to fight Monopoly, whatever, the way they're going about it is all wrong. But they've gotten enough attention that they've made a little bit of headway. The Apple App Store has said, okay, we hear you. We are going to lower our take down to 15% rather than 30%. And we're going to do that for everyone but you. for all the small creators. For small creators, let me see the exact. I think it comes down to like 90% of creators, people with dev teams in the like 1 to 5 range. They are lowering how much they take. Let me see if I can get the exact amount, but it's like companies that earn under $1 million, Apple will only take 15% rather than the full 30%. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent thing. The App Store Small Business Program will launch on January 1st. And if you end up making over $1 million, you get dropped from the program. Because it is a program within it and not just like a change to their terms of service, this is something that as soon as the wind blows over, I'm sure they'll just drop like a bad habit. But it's more or less like, sure, we'll do this as a show of good faith. And because we're doing it to the tiny amount of small people that make almost no money, our profits won't get hurt at all. You big guys, keep raking it in, pals. Which does feel kind of scummy on Apple's part, not gonna lie.
I mean, it's their ball court, and they can call the rules as they sees them.
Yeah, and I can call that it looks kind of scummy.
Demon Dragon, yay, small business. Except that remember that once again, like, it's that idea of like Boder and I go to a friend's house, and the friend's like, you guys use the shitty controllers because it's my house. And we're both like, all right.
All right. And again, I believe that there should be the option to bring your own controller or to set up other app stores on the platform, like there is with Google. It's like it's not as much an issue there. You can sell Fortnite on other stores. It's still available on Samsung. I don't know what the profit shut is there. The profit share is there, you know.
You hear that, Vladdy? We're not playing your Series S at your house because we have our own other Series Xbox. God, I hate that marketing stuff.
Actually, Vladdy, you have a Series S. You have the next generation Xbox console. So I want to ask you, how much do you use the Quick Resume feature? Dave, I had to actually explain Quick Resume to you. Both of the new PlayStation and the new Xbox consoles are both mainly graphical upgrades. More resolution, more polygons, more draw distance, etc. Hello, Anti-Claus Prime. Thank you for stopping in and seeing the set. We love it.
Thank you, Anti, and thank you for the shout out to the nerd glasses during your own stream. I really appreciate that. That was really awesome.
There's not a whole lot of very solid differences between the PS4, PS5, and even less with the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X. You could put them side by side on a TV and you could be forgiven for mistaking one for the other.
Yeah.
Differences are, like with the PS5, the big one is the DualSense controller, which we've talked about a couple times, the feedback that it has, the haptic feedback, triggers, everything like that. And with the Xbox, again, there's very little, but one that they're pushing is Quick Resume. Now, when I first got an Xbox One, I was very impressed that I would play, say, Mad Max. And as long as I didn't have it go full power shut off at night, as long as I just did like the soft power down, I could start it up the next day.
Yeah.
And say, hello, I'd like to keep playing Mad Max. It would show a splash screen for 4 seconds, and then I would be right in the game.
Nice.
And that was really cool. And so the Xbox Series X/S is doing that, but more. So it can hold up to, I want to say, 6 different games in its memory. So if you keep...
oh my god.
So if you're the type, now, I'm not generally the type to be playing a bunch of stuff back and forth, but if you're like, cool, I'm going to play Mad Max, and then... you know what, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to play Dragon Age 2, and then just so that I can keep plugging what we're playing on the Citadel, I'm going to switch to Assassin's Creed. And then you know what, I'm going to come back to Mad Max. You're back in there in seconds.
Yeah.
This is, of course, if the game is on the list of games that are enabled for Quick Resume, because it's not a universal thing on the feature. A game needs to be optimized for it. And more games are dropping optimization for that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, when the system first came out, was on the Quick Resume list after a patch because it was kind of buggy. It's just been disabled. Hopefully it gets fixed, but it's one of those things where, hey, this is one of the few things, aside from OMG more graphics, that is setting you aside from your predecessor, and it's not working right on launch. Big shocker, something isn't working right for a console on launch. By the time that I get it next year, I'm sure it'll be fine, or they'll have completely forgotten about it and it won't be a listed feature anymore.
And at least that's a feature of like, oh, that would be really convenient, but not like a hardware or like big thing to like if that's missing, it's like, wow, I really would wish I could switch between Demon Souls, Netflix, Hulu, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, my copy of Godzilla, and these other things. Like, but I don't need that.
I will say that a comparable thing that's on the PS5 is that they have the ability to jump into any point of the game with their badges. Like, if you're doing, say, Assassin's Creed, and I'm on Mission 5, I can just jump back in and play Mission 2. I would never do that. I play single-player games in a linear fashion. I don't jump around, but there could be interesting ways that could be used. Maybe like jumping straight into multiplayer matchmaking versus continuing your single-player story.
Demon Dragon. Oh no! People have to wait a couple of minutes for a game to load.
Although, again, and part of it is that this is early in the console's life system. But even without Quick Resume, both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X have great loading times. If you compare comparable games, sometimes the PS5 wins, sometimes the Series X wins. I'm going to call them on par. Their loading times are fantastic. It's going to get worse as the generation goes on and games are more and more bloated and take up more space on the hard drive and are even more graphically fidelical, high graphics. I lost what the word was there. And become big, whichever the 5 year from now Call of Duty is going to be with like a 700 gig install. But yeah, that's that. And an example of don't expect everything out of the console at launch. I know people who are like stumbling over themselves to try to get one of these, and it's like, people out there that do have a series, we have a Series S in the crowd, we have a PS5 in the crowd. Awesome. I don't want to crap on that because that's awesome. But I'm saying for me, I'm totally fine waiting for some of those bugs to get ironed out.
Auntie did give us an update on his PS5, saying supposedly PS5 has some issues with rest mode. I didn't read anything about that, but apparently it's easily avoidable in that who the hell uses rest mode anyway? I mean, really, like, I want my PlayStation or my video game system to suck up as much electricity as if I'm using it when I'm not there. Great. I'm
tempted to wipe down the lens because there is still schmutz on it, as more like Rigor Mortis has noted. So as we moved, apparently someone grabbed the webcam by the front. I noticed that there was a smudge on there before. It's cleaner than it was yesterday, but I'm blurry. And yes, we switched sides. We didn't even think about that. And then today I'm like, I can't do that. I can't.
It's Shirley, y'all, with excellent feedback as well. Haven't had any issues really with the PS5, and we use rest mode, LOL.
Nice.
Hi, Shirley. Hi, Dwayne. And hi, more like Rigor Mortis.
And again, hello, more like Rigor Mortis. How are the drawers doing? Well, that's a rather personal question. Oh, they're great. We have nothing in them right now.
Well, you have nothing in them.
Oh my God.
I have officially been told by Dan that if he sees anything of my stuff and it's not in the drawers or on my sets, he's throwing it away. Fair. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's until we open more content featuring Dave.
Yeah.
I might try to co-opt some of the drawers on Behind the Counter since I'm on that program again now.
Wow.
Mike's going to be like, no, Dave. I'm going to be like, but I just want to put this singular
both of them have
mask.
drawers. Like, Mike's got his for Retro Wednesday and Dream Team. And Dan has his on Denny NASCAR. So if you can't have
and
behind
Mike
the counter
for
drawers,
Retro Wednesday, he's got his
that's
amazing DBZ pops and things like that over there.
Yeah, so like if you don't get behind the counter drawers, they don't get them either, and I get to have them. That's how it works. No, Tom should have them. Tom should have the behind the counter drawers.
Tom will use whatever drawers Tom pleases.
That's fair.
We have so many other stories today, and I'm really excited that.
And we're going through at a decent clip.
But I'm happy that once again we're at a point where you guys are out there helping to make this program where I don't have to plan an hour and a half worth of chat points for us to get through an episode. We have backlog stuff from last week that we are definitely not going to get to, and I have more things. I would like to
Sorry,
bring up
I'm deciding to take this moment to do some shoulder stretches because it's stiffening up. Please continue.
No worries. I would like to share with everyone, once again, a link to, if you're bored and you are a fan of literary pursuits and the like, Overwatch has released another free short story.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, by the author Christy Golden.
Bodo,
Does that name recognize? Does that Bodo ring anything to you?
Christy Golden, yes.
So Christy Golden's resume includes
what have
publishing bibliography as written by Wikipedia, Assassin's
Not
Creed
to be
Heresy,
confused with Wackopedia, which absolutely should be the fan wiki for Animaniacs, which is back and awesome.
Assassin's Creed, the official movie novelization.
Nice.
She was also on
Actually,
Ravenloft
can you
novels.
go up just a little bit. I just kind of want to browse as you go by them. So you said Assassin's Creed. Okay.
Ravenloft. She was also
I'm still in frame.
writer for many years
God, yeah.
from Blizzard itself, writing in the StarCraft novels and novelizations of, as well as some of my favorite books to buy at your local book bin, the Star Trek novelizations, predominantly from Voyager, as well as some of the short stories for the Star Wars universe.
Yep, Star Wars, World of Warcraft. Yeah, I've definitely seen the name pop up in the media tie-ins section of the bookstore that I used to work at.
So I am a very big fan of the Overwatch short stories. It is a way of making a game more diverse, and also giving
when games add
color.
lore.
Yes, color and depth to a universe that exists. These stories are always a lot of fun. They're always well written.
I've seen some great cinematics for Overwatch, and this is another medium for that. Same with League of Legends, where they have cinematics, but also like the Legends of Runeterra book that came out last year.
My personal Lord and Savior, Papa Jeff, Jeff Kaplan, the CEO of Overwatch and the Overwatch League. Yes, he works for Blizzard, although he's one of the few CEOs in Blizzard that goes, by the way, the Activision Blizzard merger was not good for Blizzard. And then just stares stares at the camera for a minute, and then you hear like, Jeff, you can't say that. I'll say what I want. I love him, and I love the fact that he's very blunt about things. He went on to talk about how I see chat's talking a lot about one particular game, and we'll try to see if we can fit in Death Stranding.
But we've actually got it literally waiting in the wings. We've got yep.
So Papa Jeff came on to a short PR, and he mentioned that they're going to be doing some fixes for Overwatch. Yes, I'm still playing. Yes, you should play, because now I own it for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the PC. And I have the option to get a Switch game for the Switch, but since I now have it on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, I'm not doing it.
Dave, do you have multiple copies on any of those platforms?
I have 2 for the Xbox One. I also bought Dan.
I mean, I can't say anything. I own 4 copies of the book Gideon the Ninth.
So when you like what you like, you likes what you likes.
Likes what you likes. Yeah.
He did introduce a very interesting, if you have played Overwatch, competitive or some of the quick play modes, you'll know that you find a game mode, you select it, you pick between 3 different classes of character. Tank, DPS, that's a damage class, and support, healers.
Cool.
If you choose tank or healers, you're in games almost instantly.
Oh yeah.
If you choose DPS, you best have something else to do or some plugs to fill while you're streaming. Because you're going to be waiting until they introduce the priority pass system, which is that they're going to be adding an open queue that you're opting to get put into, where the game algorithm is going to go, there are not a lot of tanks, you're going to be a tank, and at the end of your game, you are handed a priority pass that you can then use to get preferential queuing in future games.
Okay, that's cool. That's a cool way of doing that.
He also mentioned, by the way, because I know a lot of you are saying, I don't want my DPS players playing as my healers. They always throw and it's awful.
Yeah.
If you win the games, you get more priority passes. If you lose, you get 1.
Okay, that's good.
And you can bank up to 40 of them.
That's why I started playing support in LoL, says Demon Dragon, and it's true. When the game first started out, there wasn't even, I think, pick a role. It was just 5 people go together, and you have to fight amongst yourselves who gets what role.
Yep.
and then they did it by role, and if you play support, you get matched. If you're playing ADC, maybe not so much.
Yeah. I'm greatly looking forward to that. The other interesting one that was put out...
and then she says, reminds me of autofill, but that is past my time when I played League, so I can't talk about that one personally.
They have added priority queuing already to quick play games. If you've watched any of the streams I have done with Akai 1988 recently, hope you're healthy, my friend. If you play in a quick play game and then you play that quick play game again... It's been there in the past, but now they've introduced a system where you get acknowledged that you are in priority queuing to get this. But you wanted to make a point on queuing?
No, I'm just calling dibs on next topic because I realized that there was one that I forgot.
Perfect. So they've added in that they're going to be supporting 2 groups that happen to use Overwatch a lot for content creation, and that is the pros and the I forget what Papa Jeff's specific words for, but he basically said and talked about the broadcasters and the fans of the games, where if you've ever heard those wonderful sounds, play of the game, and then seen your name up there, and it's your character, and you choose a custom animation and your skin, and it's a lot of fun, and then you get to see what the best play of the last between 5 and 45 minutes is, and sometimes it's bad and it's hysterical. Sometimes it's really good. But they're going to be adding customization options for that, such as you will be able to choose from whose perspective you are watching that, what camera view you are using to see the action happen. Because sometimes, to be totally honest, if I'm playing as Zenyatta, I'm whipping things around left, right, and center, flashes start happening, and all you just see is ding, you have killed this person, you've killed this person, you've killed this person. You don't see the kills because all you're seeing is the whipping of the animations.
And the epilepsy.
And things like that. And he also specifically mentioned, like, you can emphasize outlines of certain players that you could then, for example, for the commentators and things like that, emphasize, here's why this play worked really well. So that players like me that watch the Overwatch League to do better in future games.
Yeah.
Will get a way better perspective on it, and I am so excited for that. Papa Jeff did also sneeze something about Overwatch 2, and by that I mean he kind of winked at the camera and was like, by the way, it's still coming. And he did mention the fact that a couple years ago, Blizzard forced them to have to kind of do that BlizzCon where they were like, here's all the things that are coming up recently, and literally every presenter was like, here's some CGI.
Yeah. Yikes.
So that was the word according to Papa Jeff. Forever and ever, amen. Long may he live. But Boater, you had another topic.
The word according to Ian Frazier, the head of development for Star Wars Squadrons. This is a game that when it came out, they're like, all right, cool, we'll do a few bug fixes, but we're done developing it. Meanwhile, those sneaky bastards were making more things. They gave a roadmap for the next few major patches coming out up through December. That was headlined by new fighters, the B-Wing and the TIE Defender, which, I mean, I was like, I really hope for this, but it's kind of the B-Wing is missing from this. And what TIE Fighter do you want that isn't the TIE Defender? I mean, come on, really. They also mentioned a new map being added into multiplayer, Fostar Haven, based off of the prologue mission in the game, as well as some more cosmetic stuff. And then the one that got me the most excited, Dave, because you were with me the last time that I played Squadrons multiplayer, and we got matched against a team that was about 4 times our combined player level.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And then we went into dogfight and we got matched with a team that was 3 times our player level. Twice.
There was so much to learn from that ass kicking. It was just unfortunate that it was 3 games in a row.
Yeah, there's much to learn. There was no way for us to implement it. And I'm like, man, if only there was a way to do private matches or to like participate in the practice thing.
Yeah.
And they heard us. Custom matches will be a thing in Star Wars Squadrons, I believe in the 4th major patch coming out in December. and I'm gonna start playing the game again. I stopped playing the game after that disgusting night. I
Oh.
loved the game up until that night.
Yeah.
And it just completely threw me out of enjoyment of the game. I didn't enjoy a moment of the game that night.
I enjoy that imagery of Boder landing his X-wing, taking off his helmet, and being like, you know what? If you're not going to put me on missions that make any sense, I'm out of here.
I'm outta here.
Meanwhile, I don't have my landing gear on. I putter pop my Y-wing in, and I get out, and I'm like, am I allowed to go out again? All right, good. Woo! Just once again, just scraping across the floor.
Leroy Jenkins!
Like, oh, you're telling me there's a battle over there? Well, I'm going to go. Well, you don't have enough fuel for that. It's fine.
How you liking the B-Wing, by the way? I haven't played the game since, I don't know the release date of those. Is the B-Wing and Defender actually out yet? Last I knew, I didn't think so. I thought they were just announcing it as their upcoming roadmap. And it's interesting, too, because the B-Wing will be a bomber, like the Y-Wing, whereas the Defender is going to be a fighter, like the fighter. And yeah, that is going to be a December update that all this comes out. So it's not quite out yet. And it'll be interesting just because of how...
Tomorrow, November 25th. Oh, no, excuse me. It's an update about the game tomorrow. December update will add the 2 new ships. So they're going to do the smart thing, though, and they're not going to add whole new mechanics and things to the game without first adding a little bit of extra content to make sure that it doesn't crash the game.
Yeah,
so
they're doing like more bug fixy patches in the next
you.
one, and then again in December a bigger patch. So when that hits,
I can't wait to blow stuff up in the B-Wing.
Yeah, that's when I'll get Blue Squadron together, and we're gonna be doing scrimmages or whatever. And again, that's like you can do Fleet Battle versus AI and just be like, no, just the 4 of us, let's go. We don't have to be paired with a random.
I'm so overexcited for that, especially considering that... Boder, did you know in Squadrons you can change the guns on your ship?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know all those Republic credits that they've been giving me I can use to buy weapon upgrades for my ship?
Yep.
Well, the world's an oyster for me, and I'm super duper excited to actually outfit my ship with more and better and more. So
yeah, I don't know how I forgot to talk about Star Wars, but I remembered that literally while you were talking Overwatch. So continue.
again, I'm just glad that
Time dilation is friggin' weird, and I didn't realize that was this past week. That was literally last Thursday that was announced.
Love how Dave found the space mail. I am so excited that Squadrons is continuing to receive support.
Yeah, and actually they said, Ian Fraser said, like, the reason we're doing this is because of all of you that pre-ordered the game, showing that there was enough interest in this little $40 game that EA said, yeah, whatever, go ahead, that they could keep doing development on it. So, like, it's a big, like, love letter to the fans of, you guys rock. This is way more than we expected, and we want to give you more. They're free updates, by the way. It's not going to be paid DLC for the fighters and everything like that. It's all free updates of this game that is, I'm sorry, Dan, $39.99.
So it's not a game to Dan, which is fine, because it's a game to Boder and I.
I finished downloading the game on new hardware. I need to try it. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I bet that game's going to look spectacular on the PS5.
Oh, God, yeah.
I am super excited, and I know we are short on time, but I have one last story, and we'll end you guys with a little bit of Schadenfreude, because who doesn't love when people do something and then it doesn't pay off for them in the end. Now, I told Boder that this was going to be happening, but I didn't give him the specifics.
I just saw the headline, David.
So, as you guys may or may not know, on especially many channels and many streams that I do, if you cheer bits, I punish myself. Now, that's not an unfamiliar incentive to many streamers across the world and across platforms. I mean, who didn't have that one friend that you didn't go, give you $5 to eat it, and they would go, deal?
Yeah.
So,
I think I was given $10 to eat a couple pieces of dog kibble one time.
lucky you, Windfall, for that.
Yeah,
so,
it was gross, but $10.
A Twitch streamer had an incentive where they were opening a recent trading card game expansion in Pokemon under the name of Vivid Voltage. It's featuring a lot of electric type Pokemon and things like that. And I can already tell you that if you live in Queensbury, they are out of the packs in Target, because I went to go buy some Magic cards, and a dude went up to me and said, by the way, did you see that guy who came over and bought all the sleeves? Apparently someone just walked over and pulled all the packs off the wall and walked away. Just go to Cooper's Cave, okay?
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
Support the local businesses.
But this particular streamer, Wes BTW, offered a $50 donation incentive where he would bend a pack of cards without opening them.
Yep.
For a $50 donation. After 3 hours of opening packs, finally someone donated. And so, Wes, as I'm going to call this streamer, gladly bent the pack and then, unfortunately, opened the card. Now, I'm going to...
Dave, I don't know if I'm laughing or crying.
I'm going to share the TCGplayer.com value for said card. And just know that value on that card
Anxiety. This is what this is. This is anxiety.
Is unrated and unstandardized. It sells for $230. Now, if they are graded like someone who opens Pokemon cards for a living would do, the cards can go up to $1,500, or a card down payment for those of you that need, or PS5 or Series X on mobile marketplaces right now. Bam! Scalpers.
Boom.
It should hurt your very soul, Pistol, because it's painful. Apparently, the streamer spent a good amount of time afterward having a major meltdown, rolling around on the floor. Thankfully, their community was nice enough to open up a hype train to attempt to recoup some of the what would have been losses for the card in question.
Yeah.
But it goes to show, and especially why, one of the first times we had guests on Behind the Counter, I had bought a bunch of baseball card packs and a bunch of Magic card packs. Now, I know Magic the Gathering, and so does Geek for All, which is why when I did a joke about opening packs very quickly, and I took a pair of cutters to it,
Pistol.
I cut a pack of baseball cards that definitively the set I researched had no value to it. When I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I tore my 250 card in half trying to get it back. Oh, God! Although...
I hate this, Dave. Why did we end on this one?
I do potentially have that, where the amount of, in my lifetime, Power 9 cards in Magic the Gathering, which are worth a couple $1,000, all of us have experience of watching us as kids go... with the paper card loose on the ground. The squeaking was to give you the just horrifying sound that the cards would make. In my lifetime, I have watched house payments be tapped, untapped, and discarded. Well, it reminds me a lot of any time I tune into C-SPAN. It makes me very sad. But, ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, you don't have to deal with the pain of negligent card-playing habits. But you can deal with negligent gaming habits and other such funnities by following here. It's on my side now. I can point right there.
Oh my God!
To the logo, to the heart.
Dave, I'm going to point at your crotch, and that's going to be about accurate.
Yeah! I'm not pointing at my own crotch, but hey-ya! Because that'll be the next Twitch ban.
Follow.
So make sure you hit. Let me check on the VOD to make sure that I was.
That was accurate. That was accurate.
Yes. So
hit that follow button.
Hit that follow button, and make sure to ring that bell because.
And while we're talking about that, shout out to Geek for All that does that with Magic the Gathering cards, but opening and everything like that, but not with weird incentives like that could cause crying.
YouTube.com/geek4all, the number 4. Definitely check them out for video games, Magic the Gathering, and also gluten-free recipes that are. But
Already following. Thank you.
Pistol, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the Nerd Glasses. But Boater, what's going on the program after this one?
After this is the Citadel. Usually on the Citadel, I play games of that are good, not great, or bad, not awful, and critique them. And we've got a few going on. But because this is our first night in the new set, and my set is rather sparse, as you'll see when you tune in, I am going to be constructing a castle of Lego bricks. This literally arrived in the mailbox today, so I ran home to
Hell
grab
yeah!
that. Ronan and Katusha looking out the window like, Dad? I'm like, sorry, I gotta go.
Are you back from getting your
Sorry,
milk and
Steph.
carton of cigarettes, Dad?
So I'm going to be putting this castle together of Neuschwanstein Castle, and this could be a little questionable because these are not official Lego bricks. I got this off of a site that sells like third-party bricks, although I did buy they just sell it based on plans that someone made. I did buy the plans from the original creator of the thing. It is my own creation, and I'm looking forward to putting that together. That is going to be after this on the Citadel, so make sure you tune in for that. How that's going to happen is that we are going to go offline after saying thank you very much for watching, and about 2 minutes later, the countdown for the Citadel will start. So get up, go to the bathroom, grab some water, grab a snack, and I'll see you right back here.
Pistol, that. Hell yeah, off-brand Legos?
We go hell yeah Legos, heck yeah off-brand Legos, because it's, you gotta scale it back a little bit.
Take it down there, son.
Ah.
We're at...
Purgatory maybe, off-brand Legos.
So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we'll have to push to next week. Capcom had some data breaches. Is your information at risk if you've ever played a Capcom game? You'll have to tune in next week to the Nerd Glasses for us to yammer about that.
I mean, if you're really concerned about it, you should maybe look it up yourself. But if you don't feel like you were affected, tune in next week and we'll talk about it anyway.
Don't bother looking. But we will unfortunately have to push back. I realized, by the way, I have two pops related to this game and franchise because I have Guillermo del Toro and Sam Border Bridges. Because Guillermo del Toro was pretty much Guillermo del Toro as himself in the
So
thing.
sorry, dude. We'll get to you next week.
I'm so sorry you had to fly all the way over here, but we will be definitely talking about Death Stranding. There's no way we could possibly push it off for another week again.
Especially now that we have a physical prop here. There's no way that we would pass up the opportunity to just keep pushing it back every week.
But, Boder, since you started the stream, I will get up and close it. But for who's going to start it next week, let's do the classic on shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. So Boder will be... Do you want to do best 2 out of 3?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So Boder
start
will
the stream
once
next
again
week.
be starting the stream, and I will get to sit my ace in my stool and watch all you pretty folks gather as the Nerd Glasses starts. But since you did the start, I will go do the finish.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. I hope you'll stick around for the Citadel, but if not, we'll see you on other shows right here on Insane Games TV. I've been Boder,
I've been Dave, man.
and we'll see you soon. Bye.